Welcome back to another episode of the Speak Loud podcast, where we do two things. We interview business owners, we find out about their business, how they got started, but then we talk about their marketing and advertising techniques, their tips, their tricks, the things that they've tried, the things that have worked, the things that haven't worked. And ultimately, in an effort that we as business owners collectively and entrepreneurs watching this, we can learn from them. We can learn from the good, we can learn from the bad, we can learn from the ugly. On the flip side of that, we have some of these podcasts where it is you and I. We're going to sit here and we are either going to dissect advertising campaigns, efforts, organic marketing, and we're going to pick those things apart. We're going to take out some things that, why did we do these things if they were our clients? Why do we feel that this particular person chose this creative, or why are they targeting this way? We are going to walk through those things, again, all in an effort that you can learn from us and that we can continue to all grow our businesses and continue to scale. On this particular episode, we are talking about something that we're talking about a lot, and we'll continue to talk about a lot over the next 30 to 60 days and beyond that, is we have worked for over a year. We have consulted on it with people and wrote those checks. We have written scripts. We have written outlines. We have thrown those away. We have come back. We have rewritten those, but we are up on the finish line of something that we have been working on. When we looked at our business, and I think there's some parallels here that you can take when you're looking at your business and growing and scaling, is we looked at our market. Who do we serve? Who is our ideal clientele? You know, when we look at the meetings that we have, the Zoom calls, the in-persons, the consultations that we do, who are we ideally running across on a regular basis that are coming on as clients and stay with us? And then who are we coming across that, you know, it wasn't a right fit? And why was it not a right fit? And what we found is we have an offering for most business sizes, but we found that there was a sub-market that most of the time when someone didn't sign on with us is because their business was not to the point to sustain them hiring someone outside of their business to run those things, whether it be organic social media, paid ads, SEO, Google ads, shooting video, any of those things. They could not facilitate that ongoing expense, at least at this point in their business. So they needed to grow and they needed to scale to get to that point to where they could do one of two things. They could white label or outsource their marketing and advertising, which would be hiring someone like us, or they could look to LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, something like that, where they're going to go hire someone internally to take over those actions. And so what we decided after much deliberation and planning, because we wanted it to be right, we wanted it to be effective, is we are launching Speak Loud Academy. And that academy is specifically for those businesses. It is not for our current clients. If our current clients choose to go in because they want to learn some of the things that maybe they're not doing with us, or maybe they want to know more about what we're doing for them. Most of our clients, I will tell you that they have no desire to do that. They understand, they know there's an end goal. They want more leads, they want more traffic, they want more sales, whatever it may be. They want organic, they know they need content out there. And they don't have the bandwidth, the capacity to do it themselves, let alone be stuck in the weeds of doing it or analyzing or doing like that. They rely on us to execute the plan and to provide that feedback. This is what's working. This is not what's not working. And here's what we've tweaked and changed. They rely on us for that. They've already reached that point in their business. Now, the other side of that is it's for those people who are just getting started or have been in their business maybe for some time, but they've, scaled at maybe a reasonable pace, and they're comfortable, like they're happy, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're not making quite the income that they want to make, or maybe they are, but they are not quite to the point to where they can go, I want to hire a full-time employee, or I want to outsource to Speak Loud Group to handle all of those things. We want to help them get there. And we know that if they will take the things that we teach them, that they can get there. If they will start taking the things we are going to teach them inside of the academy and start applying them in their businesses, they will see growth. They will see an increase in sales. They will see an increase in traffic, in lead flow. We know those things are true. So the way it's going to be structured is there is going to be a community element. That is what everyone is going to kind of jump in first, is there's a community element where there will be other businesses just like you and business owners just like you who are going to be jumping in and head first and kind of looking around the room and going, what's going on? The community is for us to engage with each other. for business owners to engage with other business owners, for them to say, hey, we do chiropractic work, and here's a, graphic that we're working on and we're thinking about using for an ad or for organic. We'd love some feedback, because everyone in that community may not be a chiropractor. They might want a chiropractor, and they might be like, well, this turns me off, and I don't really like the way this looks, and it's not real clear. But then what they're going to get from us is myself and our team is going to be providing that feedback as well. Because the first thing you probably thought to yourself is like, I don't know that I necessarily want unsolicited advice from other people that don't know what they're talking about. But the reality is those people who are critiquing are your avatar. Whether they live around you or not, they are looking at it as though, what if I was interested in chiropractic? Does this appeal to me? Does this answer my questions? Does it make me want to know more? Does it make me want to come in? Or not. So it's actually a great resource for you to be able to run those things past other people. But also, we are going to be there as kind of the positioned experts to say, here's what we would tweak and change. Beyond that, we're going to do live dissections or hot seats where you're going to be able to submit your website, your organic social media accounts, screenshots of your paid ads, whether that be on Meta or it be on Google or it be on TikTok. And then we are going to use those things to go through. Myself, my team, we're going to go through those things on video with you in a Zoom type call. We're going to say, here's this campaign that was sent to us, and it is for an insurance office, and their goal is to generate more insurance leads. Let's look at this thing. And we're going to look at their ad creative. We're going to look at their ad copy. We're going to look at their targeting. We're going to look at their ad spend, all of those things. And then give you back what ideally we would change. If it was handed to us that day, what would myself, what would Laura, what would the rest of the team do with that campaign right away to maximize it and either make it more efficient, make it perform better, or get it off the ground, period? So there's going to be immense value. So picture you are getting consultative services that typically cost a lot, because it's our time. It's our time, and there's no ongoing for us. So from a business perspective, for us to tell you all the right things to do and then just go do them, the reality is we know that you're not going to do them as well as we could, and we don't mean that as a shot. It's just what we do every single day. We know that you do not have the time it takes to invest in that thing, to watch it and tweak it and do the things that we would do. But can you make it perform very well? Yes. So we want you to do that, because ultimately, if you go and do those things, your business grows, your business scales, and then you get to a point where you're like, I need to focus on other things. I need to hire someone for this. I need to either go find me a college graduate or somebody that's a specialist in marketing and advertising and bring them into my business as my marketing director, or I need to go hire someone like Speak Loud or Speak Loud themselves, because I've grown to the point where I need to go focus on hiring more staff, not checking on Facebook ads. So that's what we're building this for, is you're going to have that community element available to you. So you're able to submit those things. You're able to get hot seat answers from us, but you're also able to get engagement from the community that's there. We're working on building something really, really special, a community of small business owners that can all learn and grow together. So that's one side. One side is the community. The other side is the classroom. So we will have a full library from beginner courses to advanced courses in all of these topics. You're going to be able to go learn Meta ads, beginner and advanced. You're going to be able to go learn Google ads, beginner and advanced, SEO, beginner and advanced. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about content creation inside of applications like Canva or CapCut. We're also going to talk about content creation in terms of principles. Here's how you even come up with the idea to go put it inside of Canva. Here's how you record a video. Here's how you edit that video. Here's best practices when you're trying to create a reel. We're going to walk you through every single one of those things. We're going to talk about email marketing. Everything that you could possibly need to run successful marketing and advertising campaigns for your business on the digital side, we are going to walk you through, and we're going to be showing you exactly what we do for our clients every single day. So this is going to be a place to where you are going to be able to go learn, not only from the community, not only from the hot seats, but also from the classroom side, and you can do it at your own pace. Now, I would encourage you, don't log in and watch one module of one course and then not come back for 3 months and go, what did they say in the first one? Or you get to the second one, you don't remember because it was 3 months ago. Go through the courses, spend some time in there. And that's kind of what I want to transition to. I want to get off of the academy. And while that's kind of the point of this podcast, because of course we're wanting to promote it, we genuinely want to make this tool available for every small, medium-sized business out there that needs it. And ultimately, in full transparency, that's exactly what we hope it builds. This is why we know it will work and why we want you to use it, is because if you go and you implement the things that we teach you, your business is going to grow your sales, your revenue is going to grow. You're going to continue to scale your business. And then ultimately, you're going to get on the flip side of that and go, I need to be able to do other things in my business. I need to be able to focus on hiring employees. I need to be focusing on that second location. I need to be focused on product acquisition, whatever it may be. I need to go focus on these other things, not managing SEO and not looking at Google ads every single day to optimize them and do the things that I need to do. I need to go hire somebody full time, or I need to go give SpeakLoud a call, set it up with them, see what that would cost, and let's get it going. That's ultimately our idea, is that we're going to give. And if you will only learn and then go implement, our ask at the end of the day is when you're ready to hire somebody, have a conversation with us. That's it. And so we are essentially, through all of it, again, full transparency, we're building our own lead funnel, but we're doing it by building value to our ideal audience. Because our right now audience is medium to large businesses, the ones, and don't get me wrong, there are some small businesses that are killing it, and we have plenty of small business clients. But there's revenue gaps between small businesses. There's some small businesses that they consider themselves small and they do $500K a month, $1 million a month, but they consider themselves small. Then there's other small businesses that do $5K a month. There's a big difference. And so the one that's doing $5K a month may not be able to come in and hire someone like us. I would argue that we probably have a program that could fit for them, but maybe not. Maybe not. But definitely the business doing $500K a month, we absolutely can help, because they probably have the wiggle room in there, again, based on their margins. Because just because someone tells you that the business does $500K, like we do $500K a month, you're going to assume like, man, you are killing it. You got a ton of money in the bank. But if they're losing money on that $500K, or they have 1% margins, then they're not making very much. Nobody's getting paid. So there's big differences. So that's why we wanted to create this program, is we know there's a gap out there. There's even large businesses that would be able to benefit from this, because it will help them bring down their cost of acquisition or cost per lead. It would bring those things down. If they learned these principles and applied them and started integrating them, even if they got their marketing director in this program, it would help them overall. So that's what this is for. Ultimately, we are, and kind of shifting here for this particular podcast, is we are huge advocates, and me personally, of ongoing learning and continuing to elevate your knowledge base. That is something that I cannot stress enough, that I spend, I couldn't even quantify it, because it's a significant amount of time. I spend a significant amount of time every single week specifically listening to podcasts and on YouTube. I do not do it during necessarily working hours, and which is funny to even say working hours for most of you that are entrepreneurs and business owners, but what are those really, right? I have a great balance in my life, and I'm very happy with the balance in my life, but I also have huge goals and aspirations. And so I'm not afraid to invest. If I'm driving around, typically you're going to find a podcast playing. This morning was driving around, had, who to have on this morning? Alex Hormozy. Had Alex Hormozy on this morning, one of his podcasts. That's what I'm listening to. Or I have Audible on, and I'm listening to a chapter of a book, sometimes re-listening for the second, third time to a chapter of a book, because I know that I don't know everything. I know that there is more knowledge out there for me to continue to grow and scale my business, and also help my clients grow and scale their business. Because even if I'm not listening to a book about marketing and advertising, which a lot of times I do, I may be listening to something about leadership or growth mindset or any of those things that I want to be an all-around help and partner to our clients and to the audience watching these podcasts or consuming our reels or anything like that. I want to be help. And I don't care if I'm taking credit for it or not. I'm about to mention a book that I read that I would think would be intriguing to most of you, because it's the point of us creating the Academy. But I am a huge, come this, I think it's August, Laura and I, my wife and I, are incredible operations director. We're going to Aspire. Aspire is an event that it's fairly new conference, but they are exploding. I went to the first one that came to Dallas last February, so 2024. And they have, there's big names there. When I was there, David Goggins was there. Who else was there? Marcus Lemonis was there. Mark Cuban was there. And they all come out and kind of give their talk, their speech. Andrew Cordell was there, which he's one of the, I guess, principals of Aspire. He's a big real estate guy. But now he's kind of transitioned into this like teaching, coaching, learning type of guy, specifically about kind of money. And it was incredible. it was not all about marketing and advertising. Actually, it was very little about marketing and advertising, but it was about, growth and expansion and looking outside the box and thinking bigger and, all those things. And I left there. And the main thing I came back talking to Laura about was how Andrew Cordell got up there and talked about money and how we're taught a lot of different things growing up, but we're not taught about money and how it actually works and how it moves and, the proper way to treat and handle money. And it was awesome. It was awesome. That's the main thing. And of course, seeing some of those other guys speak was incredible. I've met Marcus Lemonis before, and I actually caught him in the hallway and was able to chat with him. It was a great day. This year, it is I want to say it's in August, and they moved it up to Frisco, but it's still in the DFW area where we're based out of. So we're going to go. Mr. Wonderful is going to be there. Kevin O'Leary. I'm trying to remember who else all is going to be there. Grant Cardone will be there. Andrew will be there. There's a few others. I think there's 6 or 8 or 10 that will be there speaking. And I am willing to. The tickets for that are not cheap, especially the ones that I chose, because I chose the one that includes the lunch with the guest speaker and things like that. But I'm willing to invest in those things. I talk about Alex Hermosi. I spent well into the 4 figures to visit acquisition.com this past year and go to Vegas and spend 2 days with him and his team to talk about our business and to learn from others in the room. There were people from all walks of life. There were people doing all different types of figures in their businesses, but we were all there to learn how to continue to grow and scale. And so I'm a huge advocate, and I will always promote continued learning and continued advancement, not only personal, but business. And I think those two things go hand in hand. So I'm recommending to you several different things. I'm recommending find you a podcast that you can connect with. If it's this one, fantastic. Love you for that. If it is Grant Cardone, if it's Gary V, if it's Layla Hermosi, my wife listens to Layla Hermosi a lot, which I like her as well. If it's Alex Hermosi, there's so many different ones. Sure, certainly find some ones that might more fit your industry. I would say that some of those that I mentioned are more broad, and they can inspire and create actionable moments kind of across the board and get your wheels turning across the board. But find some that are specific to your business and what you do. I guarantee you there is someone out there, big or small, that is doing podcast content on your business or about what you do, that you can learn and grow from. I would also encourage you to get Audible. If you're not a audio listener, then get some books. Make yourself dedicated to, I'm going to do a book a month. I'm going to do a book every other month, whatever it is, but begin to consume content that is going to continue to grow you as a person and you as a business leader. Because at the end of the day, I don't care how smart you are, and I don't care what kind of degrees you got hanging on the wall, you simply don't know everything. And if anything, you don't have perspective on all angles. And sometimes that's the biggest thing. I may hear somebody talk about something that I know like the back of my hand, but they talk about it, I use it in a photography sense, but a different angle, different perspective of like, I'm always looking at it from up here looking down, whereas if I need to get underneath that thing and really look up at it, it appears very different, or it becomes a lot more simplified. And you're going to hear those things in some of these podcasts or Audible books, or go to some trainings. Go to some conferences. I know some of them are expensive. I absolutely recommend finding some of those that you more align with, because you could go to conference after conference and spend thousands and thousands of dollars and leave with nothing. I'm one of those that if I leave with a certain amount of nuggets that I can go take and implement in my business or in my life, then I feel like I won. And I feel like it's transactional that way, that if I go there and I learn enough that I turn it into one client, or I speed up a process, or I make my life easier, then I feel like I won. But sometimes you don't know till you go. But I would encourage you to do that. But that takes me back like to the academy. Like, I want to encourage people, and I promise you this, it will be the least amount of money that you have spent on anything. We are not releasing pricing yet, but I will tell you this. It is affordable for everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean absolutely everyone. We have been we consulted on this. We spent money on figuring out where we should price this. And we went against all of it. We went against all of it. The main reason is because I want it to be available to everybody. I want them to have some skin in the game, because yes, we could have made it completely free, absolutely free. But I feel like you make something free, and I can only relate this to some events and things we've done in the past. When you make things free, People opt in because, yep, sounds cool, awesome, but there's no skin in the game. So then you have 200 tickets or 500 tickets sold to a free event, and 100 people show up or 50 people show up, and it's still a good number. We still have great times, still everyone gets to learn, we make great connections with that smaller size. But the reality is 100 people, 150 people, 400 people missed out on an opportunity because they had no skin in the game. So we're going to have very little skin in this game, very little. But we feel like at least if you have a little bit of skin in the game, you're going to do the stuff. You're going to do the stuff. So again, we're not releasing pricing just yet. We want you to get on the wait list. We want you to get on the wait list because we want you to have the opportunity to see what it's going to be. To join the wait list, it's speakloudmedia.com/academy. That's it. speakloudmedia.com/academy, or just go to our social medias and the links are there as well. But it's going to be worth your while. It's going to be worth your while. And you will not have to, you've seen the advertisements where it's like, for the price of a cup of coffee a day, and they're relating it's like an $8 Starbucks drink times 30 days, $240, $250. Not that. Not even that. So some of you that might be scared and go, I don't know, it's going to be too much, don't be. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It is everyone. I say everyone. A high school student could jump on these trainings. So we're excited for that, and we're glad that we went against the grain a little bit to make it available. Again, that's our idea. Being transparent. I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back and make us out like we're just the best people on the planet, but we're pretty damn good. And we wanted this to be available to everyone that wanted it. I told you I was going to tell you about a book. Again, I'm an Audible guy. I like Audible because I can listen anytime while I'm working out, while I'm driving, getting ready for bed, in the shower, whatever. I can listen. Whereas I can't always do that if I'm reading. So that's just me. But whether you want to listen to it or you want to buy it, go buy Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time. Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time. It is an incredible, incredible book that walks you through and gives you an executable formula for determining when it is time to buy back your time and what you should spend to buy back your time. When I say buy back your time, I'm going to give you as many examples as I can in our business, and then you can make the parallels over to your business. The first one for us was a CRM system. And more than just a CRM system, it could function as a CRM system for our clients, whether they chose to use it that way or not. We wanted a way that we could keep track of our clients. We could keep track of deliverables. We could also organize, say, leads and things that were coming into our clients from our efforts, and then also create levels of automations for our clients specifically. So picture someone fills out a lead form on Facebook. What happens? In some cases, you would need to have that lead receive a text message, or you would need to have that lead receive an email, or you're wanting to send them to an extra page to fill out a time or an appointment. In some cases, the lead information just needs to go to a sales rep or someone internally. That is what we're building out inside that system, is we needed that. And so that was one of the first things that, instead of us doing those things manually and having to do them ourselves and go back and clean up and organize, is we went and got a tool. And we spent time researching to find the right tool, but we went and found a tool that we had to invest in up front and then go and build out to make sure it served our clients better. But at the end of the day, it saved us time and it made our client experience better. We bought back some time doing that. The next one, which was even bigger for us, was in the beginning, as I was building out this business, it was me. It was me on everything. It was me meeting people and doing networking and shooting video and then editing video and then posting ads, running ads, maintaining ads. But very quickly, we scaled to a point to where I went, this is a lot, like I'm at capacity. And capacity is it's like a devil word. Like, I don't ever want to be at capacity. I want to always stay in front of capacity. So I saw it early, which was good. I did not anticipate the amount of time it was going to take to fix that. So what we had to do is I began looking and searching, scouring, ZipRecruiter, everywhere else, to try to find the right individual to come in our business and kind of essentially be our ads manager, that we would eventually layer in people underneath them, but they would become that person, the go-to person, that their only job and responsibility was to manage ad campaigns. but I needed someone that was skilled. I needed someone that was versed. I did not want to have to necessarily I didn't mind training to a certain degree, like the way we do things, and get them on the level with my knowledge base and the things that I know work. But I needed them to have a basic understanding. Well, we went through, to make the story short, we went through a year of that, close to a year of that, of between interviews and Zooms. And like, I didn't care if they were remote. I didn't care. I just needed someone that could execute. And it was unreal, the amount of people that were out there that were asking for, 6-figure salaries that didn't know half of what they needed to know. They had gone in and boosted a post, and not to take a shot at small business owners, but they were like some of the small business owners. We talk about, we've ran paid ads in the past, they just don't work. Or we've run paid ads in the past and had pretty good luck with them. I'm like, well, yeah, so show me kind of what you did or how you did. They were literally just like boosting posts, like that little button that pops up, like boost post. And they were saying, yeah, $20, $50, $100. Like, I talked to people and they talked me through their process. I'm like, no, well, have you ever been inside Ads Manager? Like, show me some detailed targeting that you have built out. And they're like, oh, I mean, I selected Plano, Texas, and 10-mile radius, and like, no, detailed targeting. Like, how do you identify who's the right person or the wrong person? Like, you're just wasting people's money. And so, long story short, that turned into a literal shit show. It was awful, and we just spun our wheels. We couldn't find anybody. So then we shifted gears, spent more money on trying to connect myself with the right people, and eventually got connected to essentially a recruitment firm that they specialized in certain positions, one of those being advertising and marketing. And so I told them what I was looking for, I told them what I needed, and they went to work. Still took us probably another 3 or 4 months, but we found the first one. And like, it was like, hey, here's all of this, which we weren't planning on giving all of it over to one person. We knew we needed a couple of folks to kind of divide those things up, because we had, say, Meta ads, and then we had Google ads, which are two very different things. Same basic principles, but two also very different things. And so we knew we also needed someone different over on that. So then we kept going, and now, kind of fast forward to where we are now. There's 4 over on the Meta side, 2 on the Google side, and then 2 specifically that are on the SEO side. And that firm is like our go-to now. We're like, just, hey, we need to add a new person in SEO. We actually had one that left because they moved out of the country. And that was one of our requirements. Like, don't get me wrong, there are people all over the world that do incredible, fantastic work, but it was important to me that our team was US based. I didn't care if they were in Dallas-Fort Worth area or not. I didn't care at all, because everything we do outside of physically shooting the video can be done from anywhere in the world. But I wanted specifically our team, not only for time zones and just communication and things like that, I wanted them to be US based. And so that was important to me. And I knew we'd pay a little more for that, but it was okay. But we have just some fantastic people that was one of our buy back our time moments. That was a significant portion of my week. And it was also, in the very near future, was going to cause a constraint. We weren't going to drop any balls for our clients. That's not what I would have done. I would have just bogged down and made sure all of our client stuff got done, but then we would have been limited on our growth side. So luckily we made that change when we needed to make that change. And one of the, I guess you could say, most recent ones that we have done to buy back time is we brought on in-house editing. Is that I have a passion for that. I enjoy sitting back and editing. I still to this day enjoy shooting video and scheduling that and planning that and letting my brain work on a cool video idea or a funny video idea. Still love that side of it. But the editing specifically was something that was extremely time consuming. Any of you that have ever edited video in any form, shape, capacity, even doing it on your phone, an iMovie or whatever it is, it takes time. It takes time to get it right, especially the way we do it, to color grade correctly, to adjust audio, to do all of the things that need to be done for a high-end video. It takes a lot of time. So that was our next. We went shopping for that. And we are so fortunate now that we have that now, because those are just key moments in our business growth plan that if I would not have addressed those things, if I would not have made, and I was lucky, I was so fortunate that my brain was already working in the right zone to make those things happen, because I saw the constraint before it happened or as it was happening. But in the mix of all that is when I read Dan Martell's book about buy back your time. And I was like, sometimes it's just confirmation as a business owner, because there's not always a playbook for everything, specifically your business and your growth trajectory. You don't always know. And so to get some of that confirmation and go, okay, I'm doing something right. I still learned so much from that book of specifically what to look for, how the calculation should work in an ideal scenario of how much should I pay for this, and when is the right time to do it, and X, Y, or Z. And I would absolutely encourage any business owner, business leader to go read that book or listen to it, whatever you choose. But those are just some key decisions that we made, and we made them in the right time, because you look on the other side of that. If I would not have, I would have maybe not lost any business. If I would have had more clients trying to come on and I didn't say no, and then we did start dropping the balls along the way because we were over capacity, then yes, we could have clients that left. If we weren't communicating with them and it's been 5 days and they haven't heard back from us, and like, we're real big on that. If a client emails me, I mean, realistically, within an hour or two, I'm responding. At worst case scenario, we're responding within 24 hours. If it is an emergency, something that needs to happen right away, then absolutely we're jumping on it. Someone, myself, Laura, somebody else from the team, they're on that and somebody's handling it. But if it is kind of run of the mill of like, hey, I wanted to check in on this, or hey, we had a thought, or hey, let's schedule a meeting, like, we're really good, especially during normal hours. Again, that's funny. The normal hours are hilarious, but just the average business hours, work week. We're very quick to respond to those things, typically the same day. Worst case, it's that next morning. We're sitting back down, running through emails and responding. But if I would not have made those decisions when I made them, then we absolutely, we had the risk of losing clients, but we for sure, not even a risk, we were guaranteed to be limited, to go to the end of the year and either do the same revenue that we did the year before, possibly maybe less. And then looking forward, we would have interrupted our growth trajectory. So no one wants that. There obviously are all types of conversations about don't grow too quickly and things like that. And that was almost where we were. Like, we were hitting such a growth stride that if we didn't make those decisions to move to bringing people into the fold, putting people on our team in different capacities, and the right ones, the right people and the right positions, then we had this huge risk. And so that's what I'm encouraging you to do is, when you're looking at your business right now, and this kind of goes back to the academy and then it goes beyond, it goes into hiring someone like us. And I want to get off of us completely also. It goes into hiring, say, a CPA or a bookkeeper. It goes into hiring a salesperson. It goes into hiring a sales manager. All of those moves that you're going to need to make, you need to make them strategically, but you also can't be held back by whatever that fear or apprehension is. I completely agree you need to do it at the right time. Because there are businesses that get the cart ahead of the horse type of situation, and they go and hire a sales manager. They have 2 salesmen. They go and hire a sales manager at $80K a year, $125K a year. And the reality is like, their business can't sustain that. Their hope is that, like, oh man, they're going to come in and dominate and kill it. They're going to get the sales team up and pumping. They're going to hire more people. But what if that doesn't happen? So I think there's healthy apprehension, but I think that's where, like, Dan Martell's principles come in. It's like, if you use the right formula and you measure it and you go, okay, we're at a certain point now, like, what restrictions or constrictions do you have? Are you managing the sales team? Are you over managing the sales team? Can they just go do their thing? Do they need some training and some pats on the back and some hoorahs and some team meetings, things like that? Like, sure, but can those things go in their place? Like, take an analysis of your day, of your week. Like, where are you spending time doing this? Does it actually require a full-time person? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they need some plug and play sales training. Maybe there is something like our academy, but for sales out there that you could plug them into, and you could get them on that right track by continuing and make it a condition of their employment. You have to spend X amount of time training. There's so many things that you could do. And I'm not saying don't hire the sales manager. I think sales managers are great. I think the right ones and the best ones do their job effectively. They will grow your sales. They will grow your sales team. They will create an incredible environment that people want to come work. But I think that there has to be the right time for that. So when you go through those, is you are going to hit moments where it is time for you to buy back some time. And reading his book is going to be, in my opinion, fundamental for you deciding when those are and what those are. But there's going to be those moments. And this is the conversation that we have with our prospective clients, is whether they were running camp. Let's say, we're going to use this example, academy, right? They were small business, or they've been around for a little while, but they needed to grow revenue. They came into the academy. They learned from their peers around them. They learned from the coursework inside the classroom. They implemented those things. 6 months later, 3 months later, a year later, 2 years later, whatever the time frame is, they have doubled in revenue. They're killing it. But then that business owner is sitting back juggling, say, organic content creation, shooting some videos, getting some little photos, editing those things, posting those things. Maybe they got their wife or their husband involved, or their kid. They're posting on TikTok. They're running some paid ads on Meta or Google or both. They've started doing a little SEO work. Their website's ranking better. Started doing all of these things. But then they look back and that's all they're doing now. That's all they're doing. And yes, their business has grown to a certain point, but then you look forward 3 months after that, or 6 months after that, or a year after that, and they're in the same place. They're just kind of treading water now because they are not focused on what's next. They're focused and they're in the weeds of the business. They're doing things that they should be paying someone else to do, whether that be hiring a college kid, bringing their kid on full time, having the wife or the husband join the business to do some of those things, whatever that may be. They are spending their time doing, say, $20 to $30 an hour task when their revenue reflects that they should only be doing $200 and $300 an hour task. So that's why you start trickling into reverse, or at least neutral, to where you're not moving forward anymore. And that is just genuine. If you are doing all of your own bookkeeping and all of your own reconciliations, you're doing all of your own sales management. I'm not just saying it's marketing and advertising, I'm saying it's across the board. If you are spending too much time doing things that your business has reached a point where you should not be doing them, it's time to hire somebody. It's time to wave the white flag or pop a flare or whatever you want to call it and get some help and bring some people in to help you. The same examples I gave you on our team, the same example I gave you with our editing team. It's time to bring in some help. And sometimes it sucks. It really does. Like the process of us hiring the team was brutal. And also, you're a little nervous. I mean, you're spending a significant amount of money now when you start hiring folks and bringing people in. It can be a little, there's some apprehension for sure, but at the end of the day, I would never look back because it was the right move to make. We have clients that are regularly buying new trucks and hiring new people to be in those trucks in the service industry, and it's probably nerve-wracking every single time, like a little bit of like, I hope this works out, but it's calculated. It's calculated. So I would encourage you to read his book, number one, but then watch your own week. You need to do maybe not monthly, but at least quarterly, maybe every other month. Quarterly is probably fine, but you need to take an analysis of, take out a piece of paper. I'm not a big paper person. I think most of you probably know that about me, but take out a piece of paper, have it beside your desk. It could be a small notebook, whatever it is, and take an analysis out of a week of, I want you to write out on there, whatever the normal kind of function is. If you're up at 6 and then you're in bed by 10, write, what did you spend your time doing? And I know you're going to take some time to do that, but do it in gaps, 8 to 10. What did I do? Well, 8 a.m. I was, eating breakfast, or I was checking emails, or I was responding to this or that. But what did you do? And then go back at the end of the week, spend time. What did I spend this significant amount of my time on it? Is it 50% that I was spending in marketing and advertising? Was I spending 30% of my time in bookkeeping and doing CPA processes? Where was I spending a significant amount of time? And is that pulling me away from doing these other things? That is where people that are going to go through our academy, that was the example I was giving, is as they go through those things and they start implementing those things, but before they know it, they have become the full-time marketer inside their business, and they've grown, absolutely grown. But then they're like, well, we went from 500K, now we're doing 750,000, we're doing 800,000, $1 million, but we want to go to 2. So how in the world could I take it from here to there? Like, sure, I could run more ads. I could do what has been working and do more of it, but do I have the capacity for that? Can I call all of these leads? Can I follow up with all these leads? Can I close all these deals on my own? Do I need sales? What do I need? And some of you that may go through the academy, you're either going to hire somebody in your office to take over the things you just learned, and now you kind of are able to oversee that because you understand it in terms of marketing and advertising, or you're going to call someone like us. And quite transparently, you're going to hire us for a fraction of what it would cost you to hire someone internally. And the reason that is because we have this many clients, we don't have one. If we were you were our only client, we would charge you way too much money and you would not enjoy it. But because we have a collective and we are able to scale our team in the right capacity to fit that mold, we are much more affordable. You don't have to pay us health care. You don't have to give us benefits. We don't need days off. We take days off, don't get me wrong, but you would never know it. Your campaigns are up and running and someone else on my team is taking care of it while I am out at a sponsored event or a charity event or something along those lines. So we're typically a lot more affordable than you hiring someone internally, especially someone qualified internally. But it translates to everything. Are you spending a significant amount of your time bookkeeping, balances? Are you spending it more out in the field than you should be? Are you stuck behind proposals more than you should be? Should you have someone in a position to where you can go build this proposal? Do you need that person? Ideally, you just need to look at where you're spending. It goes back to the paper. Look at that sheet. Where are you spending the significant amount of your time? Are you spending time on $20 an hour task? Is that something that someone you could hire for $20 an hour that could come even part-time, could knock your bookkeeping out of the park? I'm not saying you could hire a full-time bookkeeper or a full-time company to do those things for $20 an hour, but maybe you can. But you're spending your time when you have a salary goal that is here, but you're spending 8 hours a week doing $20 an hour work. That's where you have to make that shift. Even if it's someone part-time, even if it's a VA or something like that, to where they can handle some of those tasks that you can tell them specifically, this is how we do it. Are you spending 5 hours a week answering the phone? Is it time to hire a receptionist, personal assistant, whatever it may be? That's what this podcast was for. I wanted to introduce the Academy because I think it's going to be paramount and incredibly impactful to a lot of you out there that are small and medium-sized businesses and entrepreneurs getting started. But I wanted to use that as an example of like, you're going to have to reach certain points where like, okay, I have to learn these things right now. Maybe it's, again, we're catch-all in the beginning. We're bookkeeping, we're running sales, we are shooting video and posting it. Probably not. That's probably one of the things most of you are lacking on. You're doing all the other stuff. You're running the appointments. You're talking to the people. You're answering the phone calls. You're dealing with the tire kickers. Like, you're doing all of it. And you have to in the beginning. But then as you go and grab things like this, you start investing in yourself and in your business, whether it's Speak Loud Academy or a book or an event or a conference, and you start scaling up, you start leveling up. Don't stay in the same place. Don't stay in the same place. Decide in those moments as your business starts to grow, starts to scale. Now it's time to invest in your business. It's time to invest in the future of your business. I'm going to hire a bookkeeper. I'm going to hire a personal assistant. I'm going to hire a receptionist. I'm going to hire a Speak Loud group. I'm going to continue to grow and scale my business. So I hope that this was an encouragement to all of you watching this. Hope this was a good episode for you. The next one, I'm excited to have another business guest with us where we're going to talk through their business, how they got started, how they're growing and scaling, and specifically about their marketing and advertising. But we hope if you're kind of a fit, if you're in that window of Speak Loud Academy, we can't wait to see you inside. Our plan is to have everything finished, buttoned up, polished by the end of May, launch it mid-June. That is the plan. So if you want to get on the wait list to know when it goes out, speakloudmedia.com/academy. We will see you on the next episode of the Speak Loud podcast.